Hi there, I'm Hayden Crawford, and today I've got the amazing Agatha Foley with me, who is currently in Mexico, and she's doing some incredible work on the planet at the moment with regards to starseed activation. Now, Agatha, I'm curious to find out a little bit more about what that actually is. Can you explain it in a bit more detail for me?
Of course. Hi, Hayden. Thank you for having me here on your show. Um, yeah, I was in Hawaii before, right? So it was a lot of Pleiadian activation and integration. We all have like starseed. Like, what is a starseed? I mean, I'm sure you're working. I mean, you're working with so many star seeds, and then I have this Facebook Arcturian group, which there are so many star seeds, so many awakening. As you said, 2020, it's the big awakening, right? So now the star seeds are remembering who they are, and they are like incarnated from different planets like Arcturus and Venus and Sirius and Orion. And I was in Hawaii and I got so many downloads, and an activation actually helps. Like, I'm a healer, I'm a seer, I'm a star seed myself. I call it multidimensional being because I can see, I can hear, I can smell. Like, I can even smell when people are sick. Don't ask me how it smells when they that is terrible. It's like when someone is sick from inside. Oh my god, you don't want to smell that. It's like I'm always running around with aroma sprays, like here.
That's so funny. Oh no, that must be gross.
Yeah, it is actually. The other day I was having an interview and I was next to a person and I could smell like entities. They have a certain smell. Like, some people say, oh, they can smell rose. That would be like the Mother Mary energy. And like, come on, you're working with colors and with aromas and fragrances, right? You would like know, out of everyone, you would know the best. So certain energies have certain smells.
Yeah, they can do, definitely. I wouldn't want to smell sickness though. That sounds really like quite
No.
confrontational. So how do you, like, once you've discovered this then? So you basically are you're able to kind of sense using all of your sort of five senses, what's going on for somebody, and from that, so are you able to sense which star system that they're from as well, or how do you go about it?
Yeah, like I'm born with that. I didn't have like this big awakening. I'm born with it. Like, my parents, even my mom can't hear and speak. My dad can't hear, but he speaks 6 languages. And they were very spiritual. And I even believe that my dad had some connection with Illuminati, call it whatever. Like, I mean, it doesn't mean that we should judge them. It's just that we are born into different energies and places and families so that we learn more about ourselves. And I mean, you have done some sessions with me, right? You know about me more than others. And I'm born with that very much. And I can see and read energies. And yeah, I do see when um, I'm just figuring out certain planets and their energies, and then I can tell what the person energies has. Like, for example, Orion people, they have this Gothic Celtic thing. They're very strong. They also have like this little like dark side to them, like this Egyptian energy. And I just figured it out because I had to dig deep into it, and I had this kind of like remembering. And then of course Sirius, I'm so much connected to Sirius. I just love the water. I need water all the time. I drink a lot of water. I'm always at the ocean, and it just helps me to make my energy flow. I just need water wherever I am. Yeah. So yeah, there are certain characteristics, if you want to
Yeah.
call it that way.
Fantastic, because I remember, like, recently for your birthday, I created a starseed numerology report for you, and actually
Yes.
from that, I was able to accurately um, determine which star system that you're from, and of course, it had to be Arcturus. Obviously, you're managing an amazing group on Facebook now called Arcturians, and your sun is positioned exactly in the right position at the time that you were born to allow your soul to incarnate through from Arcturus, but also you have connections to Andromeda and Speaker, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, but I need to, like, you have those videos, I need to find out about those. But see, that's why we never stop learning. We always learn about ourselves. And like, I have met so many people, and what I do, like, about talking about the starseed activation, right? So many people are totally blocked. Like, come on, I got 40 this year, and you gave me this wonderful how do you call it, a starseed origin reading, I call it, right? So, and then still I'm learning so much because the earth vibration is like increasing, is like vibrating so high that our memories are coming back, our soul parts are coming back, but our body still needs to be cleansed and detoxed. We have implants, we have blockages, we need to heal our DNA. There's so many things. So when I do in Starseed activation, actually what I do is I help you to remember who you are. So it would be like a session for like 4 sessions. One would be, the first is like removing the implants. The second would be like in DNA activation, like most of our like helix strands and all, like, how do you say strands in English?
Strands,
So
string, like the DNA strands.
strands, yeah.
Yeah.
So they will be like reconnected. So the light and your psychic abilities, like they're all coming back. And then the third one would be like, getting all the activations done. So like your energy, your aura, your chakras getting, like activated and start glowing and shining, because we are stars on earth. And once we connect telepathically from heart to heart, from soul to soul, we help each other. We help world rising, and we help the frequency, and we remember who we are. And then integrating all the soul parts, which we had to like get rid of to incarnate on earth, because earth had a lower vibration, and now we can integrate them. And that's when we remember who we are. That's when our psychic abilities come back, when we connect with our soul tribe. And I'm very much sure we are like from one soul tribe. So that's an activation, starseed activation. Yeah, and it's a lot about releasing it from the cells, because we really need to be in our body to be practical in our body on earth.
I love that. Yeah. And absolutely well said there, Agatha. I think, it's so important to do the releasing as well initially. And when you talk about implants, I'm quite curious about that, because obviously I had quite a strange experience when I went to Egypt. I've only ever been to Egypt once, and this was quite a few years ago now. It was over New Year. And Mark and I were in bed, and actually we'd gone to bed before midnight because we'd had a really dodgy meal where we had to sit around a table with people who didn't know, and I didn't like it. And so got to bed, and I fell asleep quite quickly. But then within about 2 minutes, I woke up. But I saw a face looking down at me in the bedroom. But it wasn't like a nice face. This was some sort of like scary old woman's face. It really freaked me out, and I screamed. I jumped out of bed, and I tried to find the light switch by the side of the bed, and actually put the air conditioning on by accident. And I looked back at the bed, and I saw Mark screaming in bed, but he was still asleep. So eventually he came around, and I was like, what the bleep was that? I'd only ever had anything like that happen to me once before in my life. And it was when I was
Is your partner
16.
also psychic? Like, are you both psychic?
Yeah, well, we're both from Andromeda, but we've also been through Arcturus and Speaker. So this is probably why we connect, because me and you and Mark, we've all been through the same star systems. Okay, so we've been on a very similar journey, soul-wise. So he gets it, but he's kind of like a very unassuming healer. So he's not somebody who practices it, but he's just a natural healer. So he didn't see anything, but I certainly did. And I put it back to like a bit earlier on in the day that we'd been for a hot stone massage, and the masseuse had put an extremely hot stone there on my third eye, and it must have blasted open my third eye. That's all I can think. And it obviously opened me up to different dimensions, but there was something in the room looking down at me, and it wasn't pleasant. So, and it really freaked me out. But then what I noticed on my ankle were these 3 little pinpricks. They were like in a little triangle formation, like these little blood spots. And I was like, how the frick did they get there? So is that what you're talking about when you talk about
Yes.
implants? Like where did they come from?
Actually, they're different ones. There are like the etheric ones, the energetic ones, which come from like when you get an abduction. They're like positive and abduction and negative ones, because some of us, we are hybrids, and we are as like either commanders, or we are like on a ship at the same time as we are being here. And those implants are different because they're helping us to get upgrades. But then we have abductions like, I don't want to say the grays are bad. I don't like this good and bad thing, but I think it depends on which dimension you're tapping into. That's what you get. Everything can be good or bad. So we have some alien races, they try to connect with our emotions and they think it's connected to our sexual organs. Of course, humans make love, make sex and have babies. And then they think, okay, that's how they can tap into it. And then they manipulate with our genitals and then they leave implants because they want to make recordings and they want to see what's going to happen. You know, it's like a kind of a guinea pig kind of a thing. And then we have implants which are real, like totally like rice corn, and they like injected it like with in vaccinations or even in the food or the chemtrails. I'm doing some research on the chemtrails right now. So those are like tiny little nano chips which can affect you, but everything is vibration, everything is energy. You can even have some in the aura and you can just eliminate them once you face your fear. And Starseed's awakening have a very, it's like activation, it's like you are coming back into your full power, then you can manifest and you can work with those energies, you can start levitating, walking through walls. I mean, this is all not science fiction, it's reality.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's interesting because like my whole family has had a history of UFO sightings. Like my grandfather was a member of Bufora, which is the British UFO association. It's Bufora.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, I know. So I didn't even know, but I do remember stories when I was a kid. He used to like when me and Becky used to get in bed. Sorry?
He told you about it?
Yeah. When we were kids, like we used to get into bed with my grandfather and Nana Doreen, she was called, and he used to go, I've seen lots of cigar shaped objects and saucer shaped objects in the sky, and as a kid, I would be fascinated, and not scared at all, But it's kind of like, and then it's passed on to my mum, and she used to see things when we lived in Scutterscalf in the northeast of England, and she's seen things walking through the walls, and she talks about it quite openly, and I know that, that is the truth, I know because like people don't make that sort of stuff up. And it's kind of just something we have to learn to accept, that we are multidimensional beings and we are, we are going through a transitioning period on the earth at this time. And we've got to be a bit more open to, to the probability that reality isn't how we perceive it to be. So it's brilliant that that you're helping people to remove those implants, because obviously if those implants are gone, then they in effect are losing fear, which is very dense and low vibration, isn't it?
Yes, and it's so important, especially in times like this when they say this. I mean, it's like a brainwash. It comes on the radio, on TV. I don't watch it. I don't have TV. I don't listen to radio. I just put whatever I like, nice funny movies or nice songs. And still I'm struggling sometimes because people talk about it, right? And we have to confront ourselves with our fears, because that's our shadow side, which you also do some healing and I've done with you. And then which really helped me also, it's like, come on, I'm one of the few people who really travels now around the world, from Sri Lanka to Hawaii and now Mexico. And then I hear those news, I have to relate on them because the border opens or closes. And sometimes it freaks me out. And then I really have to calibrate and connect with my heart and say, no, I'm creating reality. I'm creating my life. It's in my hands. And it's sometimes so, struggling. But
I get it.
Because I know who I am. So I'm remembering, and then it's coming back to normal. But yeah, it's so important.
I totally understand, because we are dealing with this transitioning that's taking place, because, actually, like if we look at it metaphorically speaking, like the earth is kind of splitting in two, and to exist on like an oversoul of the planet, we have to be a conscious creator of our own reality, and to be able to do that, you have to have dealt with your shadows, because if you're living in that density, you can't get there, you can't get to the oversoul. So, of course, the work is that we have to do this. So, by the work that you're doing, the work that I'm doing, it's so imperative, and so many people are craving it right now, because we're all asking, who are we and why are we here, and what are we here to do? So tell me more about the different stages then of the activations that you do within this 4-stage process, Agatha. What sort of results have you been getting, and how have your clients been responding to what you've been doing?
That's the exciting part, which I'm always like curious myself, because there is a difference between activation and initiation. You had, I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, you had this amazing man on your show who was talking about Reiki and about the symbols. And I was just saying, yes, 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 all the time when I was watching. It's like, yes, yes, yes,
Scott
because,
Matthias. He's called Scott Matthias.
yeah, thank you. So I strongly believe, like, I'm a Reiki grandmaster, but I removed all my symbols because it was amazing for helping me in the beginning stages when I was like 20. And it really helped me to like open up the channels and my energies. It was great. But then when I reached a certain stage, since I'm a starseed and I'm saying not a normalo, which we are like, so many are starseeds, right? We are like amazing masters incarnated. We don't go and learn from masters. We are masters. We're here to teach. And those symbols will block you eventually. So the difference between an activation and initiation is, an initiation is you will get a symbol, a certain technique from one person down the line with all their problems and all their clusters and dirt and mud and whatever, because they all have their issues. And then they do their technique and give it on to you, which you have to follow this specific technique, which is not you, which is not individual, which is not new, unique, and which is not embracing your own unique gifts and talents. So an activation is removing actually the dirt so that the beautiful crystal, the shining crystal who you are, shows itself in the light and can vibrate and help others to remember who they are. That's how we connect. So the activation is helping you to integrate and bring back your psychic abilities, so that, and now that's the crazy amazing part. Some people start talking light language. Some people become like amazing, those healers in different ways. And it's just always so exciting for me to see, and even for them to see what actually embraces them, like who they are. Like, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it really taps into their potential, and so that they can really, you know, start making a difference and helping, you know, because actually it's only as a collective. It's like when you meditate, you know, when you meditate alone, it's lovely, but when you meditate in a group, something else happens. And of course, you know, once all of the star seeds around the planet have woken up and have all, you know, kind of have been activated and removed, you know, yeah, some of those old symbols and that, which were a bit of yesteryear, you know, Dr. Asui and Mrs. Takata and, you know, Chijiro Hayashi, they had some really good intentions, but it's kind of like old, it's old school. Yeah. It is, but it's also very beneficial, you know, and it's a great place because it is so commercial. I think it gets people on the road to waking up, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, once you've got to that point, you know, it's almost like goodbye symbols. you don't need them anymore, you know. It's like shukure, 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 shuku whoosh.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you know, some people, they even start, I mean, they start working with those, like the flower of life, the Metatron cube with all those geometries, and they start their own light language codes. And it's actually sometimes really crazy. Like, I also speak the light language, and before I could even, like, I didn't even know about it. All of a sudden I started talking in it and was so emotional. I started crying, and then I had a lot of clients and I helped them to activate it, and I didn't even know what's going on. I just had this ability to do it.
Well,
and now it makes like all sense.
Agatha, will you speak some light language for us now? I'd love to hear it, because I find it beautiful and very relaxing.
Okay, I don't know what it will be. I can translate, but I don't know where it comes from right now. Okay. Kenatu ati wate na hut keda hin ian uat hirla si kunuta derat eni kda bure nasi ena ue yokamuate uamake.
Wow, I love it.
I start sweating when I do this. It's like, go.
Well, it's sort of what it does. It triggers subconscious memories for me. And that's what it does. It helps me to remember this beautiful time of my lineage where things were very peaceful and interconnected. And everybody kind of just drew their thoughts together and were powerful manifestors and co-creators of peace, harmony, and joy. And I think that's it. So it almost reminds you of how it was and how it will be again. It's
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. I don't know how to say in English. In German, we say Urmutter. That means the mothers of the mother. Is there an English word for that? Like the mothers of.
It's almost like, is it like the divine mother of the divine?
Yeah, something like, it's like that, the source. It's like where we come from, where we are, who we are. Like,
I'll show you what it looks like in the color mirrors. Here, it's this one here. So that's the divine mother of the divine. Okay, so
Wow.
this one is rose gold. That's her color.
Oh my God.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yes. Yes.
Is
Oh
that
my
what it feels
God.
like?
Yes. It's
Rose
like home,
gold.
like a baby in the womb.
It is like a baby in the womb. Yeah, rose gold,
Oh
pearl of
my God, that's
wisdom.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there you go.
wow,
So
thank you
thank you
for
so much for
sharing that.
sharing that with us today. Anyway, Agatha, it's brilliant, and it's really so good to hear about the work that you're doing, the amazing work that you're doing on the planet. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'll certainly be sharing this with my group very very soon. And yeah, I think we should catch up again in the future and find out more about your travels as you continue on your exploration of the world. From Hawaii to Mexico, and who knows where next. Where do you think you'll go next?
Yeah.
Where do you think you're being guided to go?
I have no idea. I wanted to go to Peru, but now someone said Chile today. I have no idea. Maybe Mount Shasta. I don't know. I don't know.
I thought you'd already been to Mount Shasta.
I was there already, yeah, but maybe I don't know. I mean, there's Mount Shasta, Mount Shashti. They say it's for union, the twin flames. It's very good and it activates all the chakras for union. And it's also because of Telos, which is inside the mountain and underneath the mountain, which we even have in Untersberg in Salzburg, in Himalayas, and there's so many mountains which we, even like the volcanoes, they're full of aliens like UFOs.
Absolutely, yeah. No, the whole Lemurian culture is incredible, and it's incredible to think that after all these years as well that they are still existing on a fifth dimensional frequency, within the core of our Earth, and that we can tap into that. One of the things that I am doing now, which has kind of evolved, is when I'm taking people into a space of connection, I get them to imagine sort of energetic roots going deep down into the core of the earth and connecting up with the ancient Lemurian light and wisdom and drawing it up into their heart space, because I feel like that is very Syrian energy as well, so it's very divine feminine, and it kind of helps people to really start feeling that compassion again in their heart, so that they can remember who they are. And actually very quickly people start knowing, and
Yes.
realigning with the truth of their who they are. And actually, once they feel that again, it's very difficult for them to lose that. And it's almost like they shed those old stories very quickly, don't they?
And guess what, Hayden? Yesterday, I drove with a car. They call it cenotes. It's like a national pond, which is huge underwater cave system here in Tulum, where I am. And it's the energy of like Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, like the womb, the mother, the divine of the divine mothers. Or how did you say, like this rose gold energy? And I went there to this private property, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. And then I said to this man, I'm so sorry for violating coming into your home. And he's like, no. I said, he's like, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to the cenotes. I want to go for a swim. Oh, come, I have my private cenotes. And guess what? He showed it to me. And then he showed me this. He had two, one with this private island. It goes like 7 meters deep and 15 meters deep, and it goes like to like hundreds and kilometers to other cenotes, which they have a huge cave system, beautiful crystal clear water, and they even have like bones inside those tunnels, and turtle those shells. I saw it yesterday. It was amazing. And I'm
Wow.
100% sure it's one of this, what you were saying, like this Atlantean, very old underwater tunnel system, because that water, you can drink it. It's so healing. It's full of minerals. And yesterday when I did like clap the water, but I would do this, I play in the water. I just like the serious energy. It started sprinkling. Then I said, is this mineral water? And he said, yeah. And I was like laughing and giggling because the water would be like jumping like mineral water. It was so funny.
But it just shows you how much magic that there is still available on this planet. And it's actually here.
Yeah.
It exists. And all we have to do is find it and explore it. And, the earth is so pure, really. And,
Yeah.
she's not going anywhere. She's very supportive of all of our journeys. And she's just holding us as we kind of learn to experience, and forgive, really. Because there's no, why else would we have incarnated with shock and trauma if we didn't then have to learn how to forgive? And really this whole experience of life is to get us to a place of forgiveness of self, forgiveness of our parents, and forgiveness of God. And until we forgive our parents, we can't forgive ourselves. And until we forgive ourselves, we can't forgive God. So it's kind of like, it's just a journey of forgiveness, the whole thing.
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing and ask one more thing. I really want to all of you, just be unique, because all of us, we're like a puzzle. If we are all in our own power, we create a beautiful picture, and there's no concurrence. There's no, how do you say, power struggle and competition.
Like competition, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So we work together. We have to help each other, because that's when we come this beautiful picture. That's my message, which I really want to send out there. That's why in activation, and just, come in your alignment with yourself. Remember who you are, and connect with yourself and with your heart, and then connect with others. That's so important. And I have one question.
Yeah, okay.
Are those bottles also connected to different countries? Like, is there one bottle for Sri Lanka, one bottle for Africa? And like, is there something like that?
Yeah, there is.
I just need to know now.
It's a very good question. And actually, you're very intuitive with the color mirrors. And I've noticed that from some of the sessions that we've done, where when we're in a deep subconscious state, or you're in a deep subconscious state, and I'm facilitating this journey, you're coming up with numbers to be able to give you advice and guidance. And actually they respond to the color mirrors, because it is a numerology based color therapy system. And actually, so your subconscious mind is actually being able to identify the number to be able to get the information or the wisdom that it needs to actually wake up.
The next session. Now I know what I want. I'll get back to you after this show.
Yeah, well, so the different color combinations, they respond, they do connect up with countries, but also different cultures and different periods within our timeline. So they can be indicative of past life incarnations that we've had. So for example, this bottle here, so anything that's gold and red, or gold and magenta, this relates to a past life during times of ancient, like Rome, the Roman soldiers at the time of Jesus Christ. So, and it's interesting because during one of my past life sessions, I connected up with, I could see myself as a Roman, well, what I thought was a Roman soldier, but it ended up, I was one of the suitors of Helena. So I was actually in the Trojan War. And it brought back so much information, and it all connected back up to the Temple of Artemis in Turkey. So we can get so much wisdom from just connecting to colors. If you like orange and blue together, that is a Native American guide as well that would come through.
So if I see this purple with green, which country would that be in the last shelf and the first row? One more. No, one more. On the next shelf, on the next square, on the right side from you.
That one.
No, one more. Next. The green and purple, or whatever that is. The fourth
that one
bottle.
there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So that's an interesting one. So that one's called Love, Money and Creativity. And when you've got red and green combinations like that, it's because obviously the magenta relates to the Divine Father, and the green relates to Mother Earth, you know, the divine mother. So it's a Father God and Mother Earth. So when it's separate like that, it actually sometimes is indicative of codependency within relationships where people aren't standing on their own 2 feet because they don't believe that they're both. They have to look for the other part of themselves in the external other. So although that one doesn't necessarily relate to a country or a past life, it definitely relates to almost like a fragmented being who hasn't come into their full power yet.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, starseeds, guys, girls, just remember who you are. You're amazing beings, and we need you on this planet. We just need you all to be up and running and jumping, and yeah.
And I think that's a really powerful message as well, you know, and it's something that we, you know, once we've kind of remembered the truth of who we are, and we fall in love with ourselves again, we don't look at the other people as being better than or less than ourselves, and we don't need to be in competition, because this isn't what this is about. You know, competition didn't work. We went through all of that, like during the 90s and, you know, the noughties or whatever, and it's like it actually doesn't serve anybody. So it's a very important message, that, and what I've noticed about you, Agatha, is that you're always very collaborative. You're somebody who is selfless, and you're also somebody who's just got a very loving and compassionate, genuine nature. And I think that, you know, you're somebody that's very inspirational to not only other women, other men, but also other starseeds. So keep up the good work. It's awesome what you're doing, okay? And I'll catch you next time.
Yes, see you soon. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Hasta luego.
Hasta la
Bye.
vista.